Ever wonder why we throw rice at weddings or wear weird square hats at graduation? Turns out, a lot of our most beloved traditions started for hilariously dumb reasons. From sneezes to champagne bottles, the origins are more bizarre than you think. Stick around, you'll never look at birthday candles or baby showers the same way again. Let's get right into it. Number 15, Halloween costumes. Every October 31st, people of all ages dress up as sexy firefighters, inflatable dinosaurs, or horrifying versions of food. Why? Because tradition? That's why. But here's the spooky backstory. It started with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, where people believed spirits crossed into the mortal world. To avoid getting haunted, folks wore scary costumes to blend in with the ghosts, kind of like spiritual camouflage. Later, the church tried to Christianize the whole thing and created All Saints' Day, but the dressing up stuck around, and once America got its commercial hands on it, boom candy, costumes, and 75 odd sexy minion outfits at Spirit Halloween. Now it's less about warding off demons and more about who can wear the funniest pun costume or get the most likes on Instagram, but the tradition remains once a year. We become pirates, witches, bananas, and oddly muscular versions of Mario. Because nothing protects your soul from evil quite like a polyester hot dog suit. Number 14, black clothes at funerals. You walk into a funeral, everyone looks like they're auditioning for a Tim Burton movie. Black suits, black dresses, black umbrellas even if it's sunny. It's like grief comes with a very strict dress code. But why black? Is it because it absorbs the sadness? Is it to signal to others, hey, don't ask me how I'm doing? Turns out, this tradition has roots in ancient Rome because of course it does. When someone died, the family wore a black toga called a toga pulla, which sounds like something from Olive Garden but was actually a visual. I'm not okay. Later, in Victorian England, mourning attire became an Olympic sport. Widows were expected to wear black for up to 2 years after a spouse's death. There were even manuals on how long you should stay in each stage of wardrobe sadness, like emotional Pokemon evolutions. Now, black is still the go-to for funerals because it's somber, respectful, and conveniently matches your mood. It also tells everyone, I'm here to grieve, not to be asked about my skincare routine. But hey, some cultures go the other way, entirely wearing white or even bright colors to celebrate the person's life. Meanwhile, the rest of us look like we just crawled out of a Noir film. So yeah, wearing black. It's grief's unofficial uniform, complete with bonus goth points. Number 13, saying cheese in photos. Why do we say cheese when someone points a camera at us like it's a threat? What is it about this random dairy product that summons the universal fake smile reflex? Well, it turns out this brilliant tactic started in the early 20th century when photography became more mainstream and less ghost hunting adjacent. Back then, smiling in photos wasn't even normal. People looked like they were posing for a mugshot because, frankly, sitting still for 5 minutes while holding your breath isn't exactly grin material. Then advertisers and camera companies came along and were like, what if people did smile, though enter the word cheese? Why? Because saying it forces your mouth into a kind of half smile. It stretches your cheeks and shows your teeth just like a smile, but without requiring genuine joy. Basically, cheese is a vocal cue that manipulates your face into pretending you're happy. Some photographers in other languages go for words like whiskey or patata, that's potato in Spanish, which tells you all you need to know about global priorities, booze, dairy, and root vegetables. So, next time someone shouts, say cheese, just remember you're not expressing happiness. You're participating in an international ritual of socially pressured facial gymnastics. Smile for the dairy gods. Number 12, lighting fireworks on the 4th of July. Hot dogs, lawn chairs, and launching mini explosions into the sky. Nothing says freedom like triggering car alarms with flaming chemicals. But why fireworks? Why not interpretive dance or synchronized juggling? It's all started in 1777, literally 1 year after the Declaration of Independence. The founding fathers decided the best way to celebrate surviving a revolution was by setting off loud, colorful booms to remind everyone that freedom is awesome and we still have gunpowder. John Adams even wrote to his wife that he hoped future generations would celebrate with illuminations, a fancy word for very legal small-scale detonations. And now, centuries later, we still do it, but with more safety disclaimers and fewer powdered wigs. Fun fact, Americans spend over $1 billion a year on fireworks. That's $1 billion industry fueled by 30 seconds of "oh" followed by "is that it?" So next time your neighbor lights up a Roman candle in their driveway and nearly takes out a mailbox, just remember, it's tradition, and John Adams would be so proud. Number 11, wearing white at weddings. White, there's purity, or so we're told. But the whole idea of the white wedding dress is less ancient sacred custom and more Victorian fashion stunt. Before Queen Victoria rolled up to her 1840 wedding in a white lace gown, brides wore literally any color: blue, red, black, heck, even gold if you were feeling spicy. White was actually considered impractical because it showed dirt faster than a toddler on a playground. But when Queen V showed up looking like the human embodiment of a doily, everyone lost their collective minds. That's it. They said, white is now the standard. If you wear anything else, you're a heretic. It wasn't about innocence or virginity. At first it was about wealth. Wearing white was a flex. It screamed, I'm so rich. I can wear a color that self-destructs if you look at it wrong. Now it's a global staple. Brides get side-eyed for wearing cream, beige, or God forbid floral prints. So yeah, your wedding dress tradition, born out of a royal fashion moment and reinforced by relentless marketing. The whole purity thing, added later by people who probably sell chastity belts on Etsy. Number 10, decorating Christmas trees. Nothing screams holiday joy like dragging a full-size tree into your living room and covering it in shiny hazards, glass balls, tinsel, flammable string lights perfect for both festive vibes and mild anxiety. But where did this pine-scented chaos even come from? Germany? Obviously, because who else would think, let's honor the birth of a Middle Eastern savior by lighting up indoor shrubbery. The tradition began in the 16th century when German Christians started bringing evergreen trees into their homes and decorating them with candles. Yes, candles, literal fire on dried out branches. Nothing bad could ever happen there. The idea was that evergreens represented eternal life and the candles, naturally, were tiny fire demons waiting to test your insurance policy. Eventually, someone had the brilliant idea to swap out flames for electric lights. Enter the birth of neighborhood power outages and competitive light shows that require NASA-level wiring. Now, we cover our trees in fake snow, add a plastic star made in a factory 7,000 miles away, and carefully place ornaments shaped like tacos and cats wearing scarves. So if your living room looks like a glitter bomb exploded on a forest, congrats, you're upholding a centuries-old tradition that started with flammable trees and religious symbolism. Merry chaos. Number 9. Clinking glasses before a toast. You're at a dinner party, someone lifts a glass and says something vaguely poetic about friendship or taxes. Everyone clinks, and just like that, you've participated in one of the weirdest sensory rituals ever. Why do we clink glasses? Is it to make sure the drink isn't poisoned? Yes, that's actually part of it. Back in medieval times, people were really paranoid, like, maybe don't trust your cousin's wine paranoid, so they'd slam their mugs together hard enough to splash drinks into each other's cups. That way, if someone had slipped you a little arsenic surprise, well, now everyone's drinking it. Cheers to mutual destruction. Eventually, the splashing became more symbolic, and the clink added sound to the experience because, apparently, the 5 senses all needed a role in drinking: sight, smell, taste, touch, and now, clang. It's like your wine needed a drum roll before entering your mouth. So yeah, that gentle cheers moment originally, it was a trust exercise, with booze. Number 8, throwing coins in fountains. You're walking by a fountain, it's sparkly, it's majestic. Your brain goes, quick, toss a coin and wish for a better credit score, and you do. But here's the thing, this isn't a wish, it's an ancient bribe. Back in the day, people believed water spirits lived in natural springs. You'd toss them an offering, usually a shiny object, so they wouldn't curse you with bad crops or toe fungus. Over time, the superstition stuck, and now we've got this deeply irrational habit of hurling loose change into public plumbing. The Roman god of water. Fontus, yes, his name was literally Fountain Guy, was allegedly into coins. That's probably where this picked up steam in Europe. Nowadays, the tradition is less about gods and more about tourism. Every famous fountain you see is full of soggy nickels and dreams. Fun twist, those coins don't vanish into the ether. Cities usually collect and donate them. So technically, your wish might be paying for someone's school lunch or parking tickets. So next time you throw a coin into a fountain, just know you're continuing an ancient ritual of aquatic bribery, while simultaneously funding someone else's groceries. Number 7. Baby showers. The sacred ritual where we gather in pastel-colored rooms to guess the size of a pregnant person's belly and gift them 47 tiny onesies with ducks on them. But where did this glitter-filled diaper party even come from? Surprise ancient Egypt, or Rome, or possibly Victorian England. The exact origin is vague, mostly because baby showers weren't always about cupcakes and gift registries. They used to be more like, here's some linen and a warning. In Victorian times, women would host secret tea parties for expecting mothers, mostly because openly discussing pregnancy was about as taboo as tap dancing in church. Gifts were handmade and, frankly, kind of depressing, and everything was drenched in superstition. You didn't even mention the baby too much. That might attract bad vibes, or ghosts, or something. Fast forward to modern times now, it's a Pinterest-powered extravaganza with diaper cakes, gender reveals, and a suspicious amount of blue punch. And let's not forget the truly bizarre shower games, because nothing says celebrating new life like blindfolding your friends and making them sniff mystery baby food. So if you ever find yourself in a room full of rubber ducky centerpieces and balloon arches, just remember, it all started with people whispering over herbal tea and knitting a onesie in secret. Number 6. Popping champagne on New Year's. Nothing like blasting sticky alcohol into the air to mark the Earth's 365-day lap around the sun. Because when you think of fresh starts, obviously the first step is drenching your ceiling in carbonated sugar. This tradition comes from European royal courts where champagne was the drink of rich people who needed to constantly remind others that they were rich. Eventually, it became a symbol of celebration and luxury, and thanks to marketing geniuses in the 19th century, it got tied to New Year's because your resolutions will probably fail. But hey, at least you've got a hangover. Let's not forget the sound. That signature pop is basically auditory confetti, loud, excessive, and slightly dangerous. And every time someone tries to aim the cork safely, someone else ends up with a black eye or PTSD from the last time they chipped a chandelier. So remember, you're not just opening a drink, you're participating in centuries of elite-sponsored beverage explosions. Cheers! Number 5. Saying bless you. When someone sneezes, you reflexively blurt out bless you. They nod like you just handed them a coupon for life. But why do we do this? Are we trying to spiritually patch a hole in their soul? The origin dates back to the plague years, the good old 6th century, where everything smelled like death and the solution to everything was try praying harder. Sneezing was considered one of the first signs you might be infected, so saying God bless you was like a medieval good luck, buddy. It was also believed that your soul could momentarily leave your body during a sneeze, making it vulnerable to, demons, because nothing says logical science like assuming your soul goes on a quick coffee break when you get some dust in your nose. Today, we know sneezing is just your nose having an emotional breakdown, but we still say bless you out of habit, even if the person sneezing is in a hazmat suit 6 feet away and definitely allergic to your cat. And God help the one who doesn't say it sneeze in public without getting a bless you, and you're basically excommunicated from polite society. Number 4. Breaking a champagne bottle on a ship. Yes, nothing says safe travels across the unforgiving ocean like wasting a perfectly good bottle of bubbly on a chunk of steel. The tradition of smashing champagne against a ship's hull before its maiden voyage is supposed to bring good luck and bless the vessel. Which is ironic because historically, many ships that got baptized with alcohol sank, or caught fire, or disappeared into the Bermuda Triangle like they owed Poseidon money. Originally, people used to sacrifice animals to bless ships. Yup, ancient seafaring civilizations would offer up goats, oxen, or whatever unfortunate creature they could find. Eventually, someone decided maybe let's not murder things for maritime vibes and swapped in wine or spirits instead, because obviously, if you're gonna sacrifice anything, it should be high-end booze. Fast forward to now, you've got dignitaries swinging champagne bottles at ships like they're trying to win a carnival game, and if it doesn't break bad omen, total disaster. The ship is basically doomed and probably cursed by Poseidon himself. So yes, this whole thing is less nautical blessing and more fragile superstition wrapped in a $75 bottle. Number 3. Birthday candles. Here's the setup: we bake a cake, stab it with flaming wax, and then make the birthday person breathe all over it while silently wishing for something that probably costs money. The candle thing, that's from ancient Greece. They used to light candles for Artemis, goddess of the moon, because apparently she was really into flaming desserts. The round cake represented the moon, and the candles were meant to make it glow, because fire, magic. But somewhere along the way, this moon-worshipping ritual turned into a germ-spreading celebration of age. Now, if you don't blow out your candles in one breath, it means your wish won't come true, and also that you have the lung power of a Victorian ghost. So yes, every year, we all gather to watch someone spit on their own cake while pretending it's hygienic. Artemis would be so proud. Number 2. Throwing rice at weddings. Ah yes, the timeless tradition of flinging hard grains at two people who just promised to love each other forever. Seems romantic. Right, let's pelt the newlyweds with dry food. What could possibly go wrong? The origin, it wasn't about joy, it was about crops. Seriously, in ancient times, people believed that throwing rice symbolized fertility and prosperity. If we cover them in carbs, they'll definitely have babies, because nothing encourages reproduction like dodging projectiles during a moment of bliss. Of course, we've upgraded since then. Now we toss flower petals or biodegradable confetti, because modern love is all about making an eco-friendly mess. But still, imagine explaining this to aliens. Yes, we celebrate lifelong commitment by hurling pantry items at people in formal wear. Makes perfect sense. Fun fact, some venues banned rice because people thought birds would eat it and explode, which is fake. By the way, no bird has spontaneously combusted from Uncle Jim's wedding toss. But hey, never let facts ruin a perfectly weird tradition. Number 1. Graduation hats. You've waited 4 years, cried over finals, contemplated switching majors 17 times, and now your big reward is a square hat that makes your head look like a fancy dessert tray. Yes, we're talking about mortarboards. These floppy academic pancakes have been around for centuries and are allegedly a symbol of scholarly achievement. But you want to know the dumb reason they exist. It's basically a leftover fashion trend from the 14th century when academics wanted to look distinct. Back then, being a man of learning meant dressing like you were halfway to joining a wizard cult. So, someone decided that a flat square on your head was the pinnacle of intellect because nothing says genius like balancing a hardcover novel on your scalp. And the tassel. Oh, that little floppy string has no real function except to remind you that at any moment, you could be accidentally choked by your own ceremony. So yeah, you're not wearing it because it's smart. You're wearing it because centuries ago, someone wanted to cosplay as a scholarly chimney. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.